sews! Dead sews! Dead sews! Dead sews! Dead sews! Dead sews! This is how it goes with dead sews!
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for the third, wait, is that 6? No, it's the third episode of Dad Sews, where Dad sews a back-tabbed curtain. Now, a curtain is a very easy project. Now, yes, I failed at a pillowcase and I failed at a simple elastic headband for my daughter, but a curtain just has one little pocket for the rod, and I thought, man, even a dummy like me can do that pretty easy. So I upped the difficulty and decided to sew a back-tabbed curtain. Now, what's a back-tabbed curtain? Well, it's a curtain with tabs hidden in the back. That way when you open and close it, it has nice little pleats and the tabs hold onto the curtain rod. It should add some difficulty for me, and hopefully for you, I probably fail because everybody seems to love my fail montages way more than they love my sewing projects. Now, here is a video link to where I first saw the back-tabbed curtains, and that is the steps I followed and I'm going to show you. Now, I cheated a little because I already cut my fabric and I already cut the back fabric and pinned it together, but I didn't think you'd want to see me doing that. Yes, you might want to see a pro doing that sort of thing, but seeing a guy doing his third project pin fabric, that's got to be pretty boring. So here is my awesome Mickey Mouse fabric that I've got from my son's room. One is 9 and one is 2.5. They both still love Mickey Mouse. And then on the inside, I just have some plain red fabric for the lining. Okay, now I had some problem cutting the fabric. Now I measure sewing like a dude and I use this tape measure. I'm not sure that it's inaccurate or I used it poorly, but my fabric is not sized the way the example video shows. But I will tell you that at the top and the bottom, it's very close to 5 inches, and on the sides, it's very close to an inch, even though I believe it's supposed to be 1.25 inches. But both panels are exactly the same. So they have the same clearance on the top and the bottom and the sides. So it should look right when we're done. Now, when it comes to the tabs are your extra fabric. I thought about doing it in the red fabric that I use for the back, but it's a little flimsier than the front fabric. This is like a flannel, maybe a very, very thin flannel. So I had extra of this, so I decided to cut the tabs into these. Now these are 4x6 or 4 by close to 6, which is how I cut them. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold them in half, inside out, and then we're going to sew them with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, if you remember, a 1/4 inch seam allowance is basically the edge of the foot. So we're just going to go down the edge of the foot right now. We don't want to forget to backstitch once we start. Again, I'm not always sure how much to backstitch. Like I said, I am learning on camera. I am learning in front of your very eyes. Of course, I Google the heck out of sewing. I've watched 200, 250 sewing videos. That doesn't make you good at sewing, guys. It just makes you maybe a percentage more knowledgeable about how things go. But I still haven't found a satisfactory answer as to how far you should backstitch. But that being said, I kind of wing it. All right, I'm going to cut this and then I'm going to sew all of my tabs and I'll be right back. I have sewn 4 of my back tabs. Now what you need to do is turn them inside out. I find that sewing is a lot of turning things inside out, and it's kind of difficult with fat fingers. I feel like making sausages, you would use the same skills that you use sewing. Plus Mickey is giving me some faces like I'm being a little too familiar with him right there. Okay, so I have turned all of these right side out, And now we are going to take the iron and just do a quick press with the seam in the middle. I'm not going to show you doing that. If I burn down the place, I promise to show you the footage, but I'm just going to iron them real quick and be right back. All right, now I finished ironing these tabs. All you do is iron it with the seam in the middle, and then you fold over the top about 1 inch and then iron that. That will come into play later. All right, now our panels. These are very long seams. Am I worried about sewing them straight? Yes, I am. Am I going to do it and risk failing in front of you? Of course, because why not? All right, now you're gonna fold the fabric. It's supposed to be about 3/4 of an inch, but I didn't get the proper measurement on these. But again, they're all the same. So you fold it over and it basically goes to the inside, to the edge of your curtain lining. And then you're gonna fold it over another inch, and then you're gonna iron it and sew. So I'm just gonna do that because that would be a really boring thing to watch. And then we'll be right back and watch me possibly fail at sewing this ridiculously long seam. All right, we are set. I have ironed and pinned everything and I'm ready to sew. It's amazing what a little heat and pressure can do for you. And if there has ever been a better metaphor for YouTube and online success, I don't know what it is. I was just recently at a conference called the Dad 2.0 Summit with a lot of dad bloggers. I'm just gonna sew this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we got to meet some famous YouTube dads, including Pen Holderness, you know, the Christmas Jammies guy, and the Conversations with My 2-year-old daughter star. And the guy that really stood out to me was a Vine star. His name is Brittle Star. All of you have seen his stuff, you know him. And he just told me, well, he just gave me a lot of wisdom, but I thought about him when I was pressing this fabric, just heat and pressure, because that's what he said you've got to do. Just keep the pressure on. And when you get hot, you have to recognize it and you have to be able to roll with it and stay true to who you are. But you also have to work for your audience and deliver for your audience. And I thought that was really important. And that's what I'm trying to do at dadsews.com. Yes, I fail at projects and kind of enjoy failing at them because I get to do ridiculous things like destroying sewing machines with my kids. And I'm just going to give you a hint, with the Star Wars hat on my head, in the future there will be lightsabers. So I enjoy the failing, but I also want you to maybe learn how to sew. And there's tons of places you can do that online and on YouTube, but maybe you're not interested in doing that from, I don't know, not to say anything bad, but you might not want to learn from a 60-year-old seamstress or a lady that is so good at it, you're concerned that your stuff is never going to live up. And to be honest, your first few projects, they're not going to live up. They are not going to look as good as what those people did. You can trust me because I watch those videos and I'm trying those projects here in front of you. But you can watch me and feel good about yourself when you fail because, hey, that big idiot on dadsews.com, he's failing right in front of me and it's no big deal. And I'm just failing in my own laundry room or my craft room and nobody's ever gonna see me. So go ahead and give it a shot, man. Go ahead and try to sew something and hopefully you send me a picture of what you've done and you know, we get to share in our joy or our misery. But like old Brittle Star said, and like the iron did, heat and pressure, it can change your future. All right, so I'm just gonna finish sewing this one seam. I noticed that the camera I have set up to show you close-ups of the sewing is rocking like crazy. So I'm gonna try to move that around. We'll see if that helps any. I'm always trying to figure out a better way of showing you the sewing instead of cutting away. Maybe it's just my ego and I want to be seen and heard the whole time I'm sewing, but I like having you seeing the sewing beside me. Well, that way you can see my face if I really screw up. That's worth it. That's the money shot right there, folks. All right, we're almost done. Oh, I can't go too fast or that camera is rocking like a Foo Fighters concert. You know, the Foo Fighters actually rocked so hard at a concert they did overseas that they registered on the earthquake meter. Yeah. Between them and their fans, they actually caused an earthquake. So, that's why our hat's backwards today. We are rocking out at dadsews.com. All right, now we're going to backstitch. All right, and we're going to see where we're at. Dun 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 dun. All right. Not bad, not bad. All right, I'm just going to come back after I sew this last side. Well, I did kind of have a fail while the camera was off. I'm sorry. It wasn't really a fail on my end. Well, it was poor planning on my end, but the thread that's underneath ran out. So I decided to use one of those ready loaded, ready-mades and threw it in the machine, and that did not work at all. If you guys have had experience with these and how to use them, maybe it's just not made for every machine, let me know in the comments below. But I have a very, very ugly seam on one of these sides. Now, is it gonna matter to my kids? No, they're not gonna care in the least. But I would like to know how you guys replace that mid-sew and make it look good. Because I always backstitch the end, so I'm not really sure how you do that. And let me tell you, it looks horrid. So tell me how you do that on yours for all of you experienced folks. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this end, the top and the bottom, an inch down, and then we're gonna fold it 4 inches. Basically, when you measure your window, we're gonna press it after the 1 inch, and then we are going to go ahead and fold it 4 inches and then press it again. What you do is you measure your window and you see how big you need it, and then basically you add 10 inches to the top or the bottom. So you add an extra 10 inches in the height of the curtains that you think you're gonna want. And that way you have the allowance to do this 5 inches on the top and the bottom. Really easy. 5 plus 5, that equals 10. I tell my kids that all the time. All right, so we've got our 1 inch, and then we have our 4 inches. Now, when I'm measuring, I did finally get one of the really nice sewing gauges. My daughter was helping me pin this fabric, and she was just so shocked. She said, "Dad, you've got the same equipment as the people on YouTube?" And I was like, yeah, baby, everybody that sews should be using the right equipment. Plus, Dad is now on YouTube, so that is helpful to have the right stuff. All right, we're just going to sew down this side, then down on the bottom, turn, and then sew there. And when you turn, you need to leave your needle in the fabric and then turn. All right, let's go. Let's start on this side. Chugga, chugga, chugga. Put the foot down. Let's not go too fast so we don't rock our sewing camera. I have started sewing barefoot. I haven't gotten barefoot and pregnant, but I have started sewing barefoot because I feel like I have more control over the pedal that way. I don't know, how do you guys do it? All right, I'm coming up to my corner where I'm going to turn, and so I need to leave my needle down. Then lift my foot up, turn. Now this is going to be interesting because I have all of this fabric to try to slide in here. Yes, I have seen it done on YouTube hundreds of times, but have I ever done it successfully? No. And this isn't even a floor to ceiling curtain like I've seen done before. But I'm giving it a shot, guys. All right, now I always am tempted to do the Tim the Toolman, more power, and go a little faster, but I have to imagine that for a novice, that makes for a really, really crappy seam. But being a novice, I can't tell the difference between a crappy seam because I went fast and a crappy seam because I'm just no good, guys. All right, put my needle in, stick all this through here. Hopefully this works. Lift my foot up, turn it again. Put my foot down and go, guys. All right, one more turn. Ba-boom. Now there are people on YouTube that when they have to leave the foot down to turn it, the foot's already in the perfect, or the needle's already down and in the perfect place. Either that's just from years of sewing experience, or they're using some awesome special effects, Avenger style. I don't know. But it is impressive. All of you seamstresses, you master tailors of YouTube, I'm jealous. All right, we're almost done with the sewing and this talking because we are done. Boy, that thing sounds chunky ever since I replaced that bottom thread. All right, back stitch. Lift it up and see if we got something good here. All right, that's not bad. All right, guys, I have gone ahead and moved the sewing camera. You remember the tabs that we did? We ironed them. I went ahead and flipped the other end an inch as well because you're gonna have to do that anyway. And we go ahead and we iron them flat and then we hook them inside, right there, of this flap that we did not sew yet. All right, now we space them out evenly. Like this. Now, I was going to use, like I might have said earlier, the same fabric as the back lining of the curtain. I just didn't think it was as sturdy, so I didn't want that. But nobody's ever going to see this. The original video I saw suggested you could use ribbon. Yeah, just ribbon to do the back of these, and that would work perfectly fine. I think you use your scraps, but the fact is, I screw up so many times when I'm sewing. I don't have many scraps left that are of any size. No size of note. So you go ahead and you hook these in, okay? And then I'm going to quickly pin these. Okay, now all we have to do is sew down the edge, then sew down the top, the other edge, and the bottom. And we are done. All right, guys, we are done with the tabs. As you can see, they are hidden in the back and your rod goes right through there. Take out these extra pins and there you go. Then when they scrunch together, they're good. I actually made a project without failing, minus the little spindle of thread that ran out. And here you can see my nice yeah, they're upside down. I didn't look at the way the fabric was before I picked the top and the bottom for my tabs. Well, I actually thought this was going to be my project that I would do with no fails whatsoever, and I have sewn the panels upside down. Cue the fail montage. So, what do you think, guys? Cool, huh?
Huh? I don't know. Just tell him he did a good job. Good job, Papa!
Ooh, that's soft. All right, guys, that is it for Dad Sews. All I have to do is sew my other panel topside correctly so that the fabric is laid out this way and not upside down. And I guess I'm gonna have to rip all of the seams for that first panel, or maybe my two boys will have one panel that's right side up and one panel upside down. It all depends on how they do in school this week. Will they or won't they? Find out on the next episode of Dad Sews. Don't forget to click subscribe. There's a button. You can click subscribe and see our other videos. Don't forget to check out our video we did 5 things I've learned as a dad shopping in fabric stores. And if you haven't seen our Office Space shot-for-shot remake of The Destruction of the Fax Machine with the sewing machine, you've got to check it out. It's right here. Thank you, and please tell your friends, learn to sew by sewing, failing, and repeating, just like I do. We will see you next time at dadsews.com. Thanks for joining us.
Fail! Epic fail!
This production is brought to you by the Plaid Dad Blog Podcast Network. For more information, visit plaiddadblog.com.